Breaking news on the economy. The May jobs report just released. Allison Harris is going to break down the results and what they mean, all from the White House. Good morning, Allison.
Good morning, Adrienne. So these jobs numbers out today are actually better than what economists were forecasting, showing that the U.S. economy is still resilient. 390,000 jobs were added in May. The unemployment rate is at 3.6%. Experts were forecasting that a more modest 325,000 jobs would be added. So this is a much better performance than what was being anticipated. But at the same time, it also ends a 12-month streak of payroll growth above 400,000, narrowly missing that mark at 390. President Biden has been preparing Americans that the rapid job gains and the wage growth that we have seen over the past year are going to slow. The president saying that this should not be cause for concern, but this is a sign that the economy is stabilizing coming out of the pandemic. This also can be seen as a sign that employers are starting to have a bit of a harder time hiring from a small pool of workers. The worker shortage still exists in this country. It is expected that record high inflation could in turn end up causing more people to start looking for jobs. Again, the headline, these numbers out this morning are healthy. They're healthier than expected even, but it's still fewer than the job growth that the U.S. has been experiencing in the previous months. Adrienne.
All right, Allison, thank you so much. I'm joined now by Gene Ludwig, former U.S. comptroller of the currency and founder of the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity. Am I saying your name right, Ludwig or Ludwig?
Ludwig.
Okay, Ludwig. Good. Thank you so much. I always like to make sure I'm saying people's name right. Never want to assume. The national unemployment rate, it remains low, 3.6%. But your group recently found the true unemployment rate is much higher in some metro areas, even hitting above 30%. Is that right? Tell us about how you did this math.
Well, Adrienne, it's interesting. 3.6% only means that somebody has a job, a part-time, full-time, could be 10 minutes. It doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has a full-time job, nor that they're earning above a poverty wage. We felt that as a matter of what people, as a common sense matter, believe is employment, is a full-time job where people earn above a poverty wage. So what we've done is we've filtered the 3.6% number or any headline number of this sort so that if you want a full-time job but you can't get one, you're not counted as functionally employed. And if you can't earn above a poverty wage, that's $20,000 a year, you're not counted as functionally employed. And in that case, actually, today, 23+% of Americans are not functionally employed. It's higher for Black Americans, which is about 26%, higher for Hispanic Americans, about 25%. And we think that's a more meaningful way to think about the predicament we are in with regard to a number of Americans who are not fully employed.
And it could point to that economic storm that we've heard CEO Jamie Dimon talking about coming our way. You also recently wrote in a study your institute conducted about the two-income family would have at the median had $4,000 extra to spend after covering their basic needs 20 some odd years ago. But today, that same family would actually go $2,000 into debt to sustain a very modest lifestyle, even after all of the money pumped into our economy over the past couple of years.
Yes, the Biden administration has done a bit better. Both in terms of true and these other numbers. But we've got a long way to go. These problems have been festering for well over 20 years, as we've seen middle and low income Americans' well-being decline.
Go ahead. I apologize.
I'm sorry. It's just a huge problem for America. We obviously want everybody to be able to live the American dream. And we're seeing it go in reverse, not the right way.
Yeah, well, it costs a whole lot more money to be considered really a functioning middle class now, too. Let's get to this comment from J.P. Morgan Chase's CEO, Jamie Dimon, in terms of that hurricane and the fact that a recession is a word that's been thrown around for months now. What are your predictions? What is your outlook from all of the studies your group has been doing?
Well, you got to look deep into a crystal ball with the war going on and oil prices up. to determine whether we're going to have a soft landing, a hard landing, and a real recession. But the one thing that I think everybody agrees on, with the interest rates going up and the Fed's trying to do that to control inflation, it will put the brakes on the economy. We're going to see more unemployment, more slowing in the coming months. And with a lot of people who are today not functionally employed, these are going to be harder times.
But real quick follow-up question. We have 20 seconds left. The Fed vice chair saying something about this. Do you believe, or are there some economists who believe that we need a recession in order to slow down inflation in the way that we need to, and fast?
Well, America has the Fed as its bulwark against inflation. That's the bulwark. And they have one big tool, which is interest rate policy, raising interest rates. And it's kind of like chemotherapy. It'll work. But it like chemotherapy, it does a lot of damage to the patient it's used on, and that's what we're facing. It's an unpleasant reality, but that's the only tool, big-time tool the Fed has right now.
You certainly did paint a picture there that a lot of us can relate to using that analogy. Gene Ludwig, thank you so much, and we appreciate you providing the information from your study to us.
Great to be with you, Adrienne. Real honor.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.